In a world where strength decides everything, the weakest guy finds a way to fight back. His name is Hobin Yu, and at the start of this story, he's a nobody. Screams echoed from the boys' bathroom. I hate this school. Everyone in my class is better than me. There's Parko, that stupid vlogger who somehow makes money. Then there's the beauty blogger Rumi, earning cash with her looks. And me, I'm talentless, broke, a complete zero. Finally cleaned off that crap. Deep down, I can't admit I'm a loser. That would make everything worse. Out of nowhere, Jiho came flying in with a kick. He picked a fight, claiming I looked at his camera. Jiho's a talentless hack, but because he's Parko's cameraman, he's always on my case. But inside, he's a coward. Sometimes he'd even flinch at my glare. Parko was the ringleader, always backing up his idiot cameraman. Every day, he'd try to beat me down so fast I couldn't even fight back. Rumi walked up to Parko and thanked him. They'd just earned 300,000 won. His face was pure shock. Just one short video made that much? Hearing this, Jiho started thinking about becoming a vlogger too. Hobin also thought maybe he should give it a try, Jiho reasoned. He's already a cameraman. He should start a channel. He asked Parko how to do it, but you need to be an adult. Then he started thinking about whose ID he could use. He looked at Hobin and asked about his mom. Was she still alive, or had she already kicked the bucket? Hearing that, Hobin froze. The whole class immediately said you can't talk about someone's mom like that. But they weren't defending him. They were just laughing at how Jiho said it. Jiho then declared they should all apologize because they laughed at his words. Hobin thought about rushing him right then and there, but he couldn't muster the courage. His mother was sick and in the hospital. She kept insisting she was fine and wanted to come home soon. But home would be even worse, Hobin thought. When he visited her, she noticed his bruises, but he just brushed it off with a joke. He went to cash the 300,000 won check, and a bitter thought hit him. For some people, making that much is just one video. For him, it's a whole week on a scorching kitchen grill, flipping burgers from morning till night. And even then, with the hospital bills, it's never enough. He was furious. He spent a whole day just to earn 50,000 won, and for them, it's just a 15-second clip. There was nothing good in his life. Suddenly, a pretty girl appeared asking if the patties were ready. Maybe his life wasn't all bad. There was her. Her name was Choi Bomi. She had perfect control over the entire kitchen. Hobin was happy just from talking to her, admiring her beauty. Parko started a live stream, announcing his plans. He came to the cafe to film a mukbang. Hobin didn't want him to know he worked there and tried to hide. Parko aimed to shoot a short video with Choi Bomi. His viewers were mesmerized by her beauty. He pulled out a flyer for a burger and gave her 30 seconds to make it, or they'd have to get to know each other. Hobin was on alert. Parko then started mocking her, saying, "Hurry up, give me your number and we'll film." The whole kitchen crew hated these vloggers, yet envied them. Making a burger that fast was impossible. But then, a hand extended with a perfect burger. Hobin said coldly, "Your burger is ready, sir." Parko and his cameraman were stunned. Hobin immediately added they should leave and not hold up the line. He turned around like a hero and walked away. His entire shift congratulated him, celebrating how cool that was. But his mind was on one thing only: what awaited him at school. How perfectly she looked at me, Hobin recalled, making a tasty ramen. He started thinking about what to do with Jiho. This guy was living in his apartment. And now Jiho was streaming a game. Someone had donated for him to complete a 300,000 won challenge. In his mind, Hobin apologized to his mom for letting this jerk use her ID. He's earning a lot. Maybe he'll share? Hobin made him delicious ramen to butter him up. At that exact moment, his foot caught the computer cable. It started to fall. Jiho was about to win the challenge, just one enemy left, when, in that second, the computer shut off from the pulled plug. Jiho turned toward Hobin, and at that same moment, a bowl of hot, delicious ramen flew right into his face. They both crashed down with a thud. Mentally, Hobin apologized to his mom that her food was wasted. Jiho started beating him because the challenge was failed. He kicked him in the face and began insulting his mother, saying she got cancer because of him. Hearing that, Hobin snapped. He threw the ramen in Jiho's face and landed a powerful uppercut. It was the first punch of his life, and Jiho was his first opponent. Jiho immediately retaliated with a punch straight to Hobin's face. From the outside, It was a ridiculous fight. They were throwing ramen and pulling each other's hair. It was 2 a.m. Sitting in the garbage after the fight, he wondered, why hadn't he felt any pain during it? His left eye was swollen, but through his right, he saw the huge mess and wondered how he'd ever clean it. All that wasted money. He gave up on cleaning, wrapped himself in a blanket, and lay down on the same floor to sleep. Even then, he couldn't fall asleep right away because he was worried about the electricity bill. How pathetic I am, he thought. In the morning, he was woken by his ringing phone. With a groggy voice, he answered. On the other end, Jiho was screaming at him to delete the video immediately. Gasping, he mumbled about last night's stream. But how was that possible? The power was cut. Through his swollen eyes, he looked closer. Seeing the cable on the floor, he realized it wasn't the PC's power cable. It was the monitors. Hoban still didn't fully understand what had happened. A sobbing Jiho explained their entire embarrassing fight was now online, and he couldn't delete it because it was uploaded to his mother's account. Hoban yelled back that he hadn't uploaded anything and had cut the power before sleeping. Jiho explained that with the stream setup, when it cuts, it uploads automatically. Hoban was shocked but still in disbelief. He grabbed his phone and checked. Logically, the video couldn't be there, and in that second he found it. Their fight. It already had over 1,000 comments. The video had hit the algorithm and was spreading worldwide. He dropped the phone from his hands. He sat down, stunned. He used to be a local fool. Now he was a worldwide one. He had to delete it fast. But when he went to do it, he saw important information. They pay for views. 1 Korean won per view. He started calculating how much he'd earned. He couldn't grasp it at first, but then he saw the view count. It was over 10 million. He completely lost his mind at that moment. Everyone started talking about their ridiculous fight. Their classmates were laughing, calling them the school's biggest disgrace. At that moment, Jiho walked into class. He looked nothing like an internet star. He immediately noticed everyone knew about the video and was laughing. He desperately wanted to be somebody at school, which is why he always followed Parko around. He was terrified of becoming a loser and decided to act out. He punched a classmate. But in response, he instantly ate a left uppercut. The classmate jumped on him, pummeling his face. Jiho couldn't do anything and started begging Parko for help. But Parko chose not to help, just sneering at him instead. Jiho was devastated. He'd tried so hard to please him. Meanwhile, the big guy kept wailing on him, and Jiho realized he'd been wrong about everything. Hoban arrived at the hospital. They handed him a bill for 1,200,000 won. The receptionist was worried about him. She'd even thought about paying it herself sometimes. But then she saw his smile and the cash. He happily handed over the money, knowing he still had over 8 million won left. That video had made him a fortune. The views were skyrocketing. He no longer cared that everyone hated him. He was happy. And right then, a fist slammed into his head. It was a furious Jiho. He had lost everything and earned nothing. He started demanding money from Hoban. Without a second thought, Hoban kicked him right in the butt. Another ridiculous fight broke out. 10 minutes later, they calmed down and sat on a bench, discussing everything. Hoban flat out said he wouldn't give him the money and that Jiho was now the school's biggest loser. Jiho suddenly pulled out his phone and showed him a video. It was a recording of the fight they just had. He had planned this whole thing in advance. Hoban started hitting him, demanding he delete it. Jiho just laughed and asked who would even want that video. Hoban realized it had all been a setup. This was his plan all along. They returned to school. This time, Parko was doing a live stream, deliberately using Hoban and Jiho as his background, pretending they were his friends. From the outside, they looked like total clowns. They felt like failures. Jiho hinted to Hoban that it was time to act. Hoban decided to change his life. Right then, Parko was wrapping up his stream. When suddenly Hoban shouted that Parko was a rat and a fraud who deceived everyone. Parko was shocked by these words. "All his pranks are fake," Hoban shouted, sounding utterly convincing. Hoban began to recall how this all started. Jiho had offered him a partnership. "We can move forward together. You can earn a ton of cash." Hoban was eager to make money. Jiho laid out the plan for the video, saying he knew the platform's ins and outs from being Parko's cameraman. You have to pay taxes on videos correctly. Parko only got popular because of me. Your job is to be the main face on camera. I'll handle the rest. Hoban only heard the part about the money. Jiho sounded very persuasive, and he saw that Hoban believed him. Hoban asked, "How are we splitting the money?" Jiho replied, 90/10. I get 90%, you get 10%. You are my friend after all. Hoban immediately told him to get lost. They'll be trashing me, and I only get 10%? He turned and started to walk away. Jiho yelled after him, offering different percentages. He didn't want to stay a loser. He proposed the same split, but reversed. Hoban liked that offer and was now ready to hear the plan. Jiho was annoyed he couldn't swindle him on the percentage, but he accepted it and started explaining. During Parko's livestream, we get our revenge. We have nothing to lose anyway. Hoban took off his shirt and revealed how Parko had been beating him. The whole class was stunned by this action. Jiho was already thinking about how viewers would jump to their channel. At that moment, Parko went berserk. But then, he started laughing. As it turned out, his phone had died. Nothing had been streamed. Jiho's eyes almost popped out of his head. Parko happily swung at Hoban and landed a powerful slap right across his face in front of the entire class. In that moment, Hoban looked straight at Jiho. Jiho grew tense, but he wasn't afraid of the hit, because at that very moment, he was secretly filming Parko beating Hoban. Views and subscribers shot up. Comments flooded in, people saying they never knew Parko was such an animal. The clip hit the algorithm. Jiho understood no one would pay attention to him. Everyone was watching the beating. The more Hoban got hit, the more popularity they gained. But Hoban didn't understand if he'd get any money for this. He remembered the grueling work in the kitchen and his mother sick with cancer. At that moment, Jiho realized everyone was tired of bland content. They needed something new. Something like a bullied student fighting back against a ruthless vlogger. Hoban was terrified of him. But the memory of the insults about his mother gave him a surge of strength. And so, he began his great fight. The entire class was stunned. Jiho was also shocked by his actions. All he had to do was stand there, but he chose to fight back. Jiho knew a fight was inevitable now. Hoban looked confident. He was ready to start the fight with Parko. But deep down, he was really hoping someone would step in and stop them. He couldn't back down. Too many people were watching. Hoban was terrified of him. He started noticing all his muscles, arms like a giant's compared to his own. I'm just a worm, he thought. He started remembering how superheroes acted in movies. Hoban wondered if he should just get on his knees and apologize, but then he suddenly remembered the insult about his mother and lunged forward. His takedown attempt looked epic. Parko was surprised by the move. Jiho and the whole class watched in shock. Hoban roared, but it turned out he hadn't even moved him an inch. He'd just wrapped himself around Parko's leg like a child. Jiho shouted that he'd missed. Parko thought about what to do in this position. He reached down, grabbed Hoban by the pant leg, and lifted him overhead. Go see your mommy, he said, and slammed him to the floor with force. Hoban felt all the pain shoot through his back. The entire class erupted in laughter. Jiho flinched as if he'd felt the blow himself. Lying there, Hoban thought he'd truly overestimated his strength. Remembering his fight with Jiho, this was like night and day. It was all for nothing, he thought. Parko leaned over him. We're not done yet, he said, pulling his fist back. It looked terrifying. Just as he was about to strike, someone yelled at them to keep it down because he was trying to sleep. Parko turned toward the voice with aggression. You can sleep at home, kid. The guy started to get up. Parko saw him and immediately got scared, starting to stutter an apology. This was Moonsung Kim. He trained in MMA. Hoban, looking at him, realized this Moonsung guy stood out from everyone else. Parko lowered his eyes, looking completely pathetic. Hoban was shocked that a few words had completely changed the situation. Moonsung just lay back down to sleep at the back desk. Jiho was thrilled he'd managed to film everything. That guy's powerful, he thought. Parko quietly slipped out to the smoking area. Jiho walked over to Hoban and said, You looked strong out there. Even though you didn't win the fight, I got it all on camera. And now, you have fans. Evening fell. Parko arrived home, sat down, and plugged in his phone. He was shocked that Hoban had tried to challenge him. As the phone powered on, it flooded with notifications. Reading the messages, he couldn't grasp what was happening or where this sudden hype was coming from. Then he saw it. Rage consumed him. Meanwhile, Hoban was under a stream of warm, soothing water. Maybe I am a loser compared to them, he thought. But right now, I feel incredible because I stood up to all of them by myself. He checked the trending page and saw their video. It was dominating every recommendation and topping all the charts. Every online community was talking about it. Subscribers poured into Hoban's channel. This was just the warm-up with Parko, he realized. There was more to come. The channel's main focus would be fighting. But Jiho pointed out a crucial detail. Our videos need to be long. We earn money from ads, not views. You have to survive in a fight for over 5 minutes, or viewers won't watch until the end. Hoban agreed. He needed to learn how to fight. He searched online for guidance. The first tutorials he found were disappointing. He looked up Taekwondo, but it wasn't quite about real combat. Nothing fit what he needed. He wondered how to find the right material and tried searching for self-taught fighters. By accident, he typed it in English. A single channel appeared. It had 0 subscribers but contained videos. It seemed like a glitch, but he clicked on the profile. Every video had 0 views. He opened one. A man in a rooster mask filled the screen. Hoban did not yet understand how this channel would transform his life. Hoban began listening to Rooster Guy. The first lesson was about controlling your hands, or they would control you. The first technique was how to take a punch without feeling it. Hoban was in shock that he was watching this weirdo. Was this just more nonsense? He thought about going to bed. In the background, Rooster Guy continued, explaining that this was the method to not feel pain, and then signed off until the next video. That evening, in the city center near a club, some beautiful girls saw Parko. He tried to say hello, but they just laughed at him. They knew who he was from the expose video. Parko was filming an apology video and accidentally slipped up, admitting the earlier video was staged. Because of this, all his videos started getting exposed as fake. Someone even made a website to unsubscribe from his channel in real life. So he went live on the street, trying to win back anyone's favor, but it was too late. Everyone was more interested in who had exposed him. That person was our great fighter, Hoban. He renamed his channel to How to Fight and quit his job at the kitchen. The money from it wasn't enough to help his mom anyway. Meanwhile, the female staff were discussing his sudden resignation. The beautiful Choi Bomi asked, "Was that Hoban, the vlogger?" "Yes, the one who fought Park Go. On my way into work, I noticed his resignation request. Everyone was discussing him, calling him a total loser, and he knew it wouldn't stop. Even his old kitchen co-workers laughed, and his boss insulted him for quitting." Fury filled Hoban's eyes. Then Bomi appeared, saying she liked his videos and thanking him for exposing Parko. She shocked Hoban by handing him her phone to exchange contacts, stunning the whole staff before saying she'd contact him. Hoban was in disbelief. Sitting in class, he happily but awkwardly texted Bomi, smiling at the memory of beating them all and now chatting with this beauty trying to impress her. Jiho showed up, teasing his smile and congratulating him on 100,000 subscribers, warning that surprising viewers would get harder. Hoban needed to learn to fight, remembering the Rooster Fighters channel. Jiho insisted they act fast while trending, but Hoban pretended everything was fine. Rumi interrupted, offering to sleep with Hoban because their audience wanted it, and they were a perfect match, adding she never loved Parko. Jiho laughed at her boldness. A sudden scream cut through as Parko stormed into the classroom, furious and scaring everyone. Hoban knew he wouldn't back down and recalled the Rooster's advice: enrage your opponent. As a raging Parko charged closer, the Rooster's words echoed. No head control means no fist control. Parko swung and missed, shocking the class, but his rage only grew. Hoban realized the Rooster fighter had perfectly predicted and dissected his opponent without even seeing him.